Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining me for my little impromptu live stream. Can y'all hear me okay? Oh, it's good to see y'all. Hi, Novi D. Hi, Paula Newman, Sharon Skinner, Lakiva McGee. Thank y'all so much for being here. Hey, Veronica Quick. Thank you for being here. Y'all can't hear me, right? Because sometimes I will mute myself. Oh, thank you so much, Novi D. Okay, so y'all can hear me. All right, so we have to finish our recap. I'm sad it's going away. We have to finish our recap of With Love, Meghan. We're going to be finishing it today with episodes 6, 7, and 8. I'm not ready for it to be over, but I am excited that we're getting a season 2. So it's all good. It's all good. So today we're going to be starting with episodes 6. And I wanted to do it live because, and I didn't even do segments. I was like, we can just talk about it because I don't want to have y'all here all day. It is the middle of the day. But I did want to start with episode 6. The juice is worth the squeeze. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like the video or like the live stream by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to share so that more people can find us and join us. And please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. So that'll be nice if y'all could do that for me. I keep forgetting to mention it because it's in like my intro. And so I keep forgetting to like stop and say, I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers this year. So hopefully we can make that goal. If not, we good with what we got. So we got a good little community. So it's all good. Oh, hey, Tamiko Hinman. Thank you so much for being here and moderating. I hope everything is going well in grad school. Let's see. Did I speak to everybody so far? Okay, great. So we're going to, oh, hey, Mina Ruth, it's good to see you. We're going to start with episode 6. It's called The Juice is Worth the Squeeze. And I learned later why that was the name of the episode, because when Meghan was squeezing, I think it was a lemon or an orange, it splashed all over her. That was so funny. That was so funny. She handled it really well. So in this episode, the guests were Chef Velasquez, Tracy Robbins, Victoria Jackson, and Jennifer Rudolph Walsh. She rolls with a pretty important group of people. Like every one of her friends have these like storied careers. I'm like, I know that's right. You are the company you keep. And she keeps some pretty accomplished company. So it was nice to kind of get introduced to some of these people. Oh, wow. Hi, NoVD. NoVD says, I'm watching everything about the Sussexes on Netflix while I do chores. I don't blame you. It's good to have it going in the background too. That's something that I love. So after I watched With Love, Meghan straight through twice, then I just kind of liked the energy. I like the music and the vibe. So it just is kind of always going in my living room when I'm not recording. It's just such a nice sound. It just puts a lot of energy into the air, a lot of positive energy. And that is what I'm all about right now. So it is all good. Okay, let's see. So the cuisine cooked in this episode. Y'all know the Korean fried chicken, that almost took me out. Recapping that yesterday, that had me in the trenches. I almost didn't make it, but I did. We prevailed. I had to eat a lot of pickles to to stifle the craving, but it worked. So in this episode, we saw Meghan make some avocado toast, a manwich, which, oh my gosh, did y'all see that sandwich? Whoo, that looked real good. And it had like the little runny egg on. Oh, and then when he bit into it, so she gave it to a member of her crew. When he bit into it, that little crunch, you know, when the show first began, one of the first things Meghan said was that she likes to appeal to all five senses when she's cooking or planning anything or welcoming people. So anything she does, she thinks about all five senses. And that is very apparent because the food is beautiful. She's very clear about color scale. Like she likes to make sure it's a nice color gradient in every dish. But nice colors, excellent taste, clearly. But every time they bite into it, it sounds so good. Like that crunch, it sounds amazing. So clearly she does appeal to all the senses. Oh. Hi, Lakiva McGee. Lakiva McGee says, I had dreamed about the chicken and I don't eat meat. Oh, you know what? Same. I do eat meat. And so I know exactly what I'm missing. And it is hard on me. I was so tempted. Oh my goodness. I made a nice roast yesterday. So that was really good for dinner. But oh my gosh, I definitely wanted that chicken. And it looked so good. That glaze is really what set me off. So I was just on the ropes. But anyway, she also made plantain chips. Now I have to ask, if y'all don't mind, let me know where you're from and how you pronounce plantain, because I also say plantain, and I notice Meghan says plantain, but there are so many people who get so aggressive with it. It's plantain or plantain, like an I almost. And I've heard people get so aggressive about that, and I'm like, I don't know. I've always said plantain. It looks like plantain. It's spelled like plantain. So if you pronounce it another way, let me know how you pronounce it and where you're from. I wonder if that's like regional. Let me know. We also saw Meghan make an iced Americano coffee. We saw her make tinga, ceviche, and cocktails. This was a nice menu. Everything that they made was so pretty and so colorful. I'm really disappointed that I can't smell it because there is something so special about Mexican food when it's cooking. Same as soul food. Like you can smell that doors away. You can smell it everywhere. I love the smell of Mexican food cooking. Y'all know I'm from Texas, so Mexican food is a big part of my palate, my cuisine preferences. I eat equal parts soul food and Mexican food, Tex-Mex as well. I love it all. Oh, let's see. Okay, y'all answer me. Hi, Joan Commonwealther. Joan Commonwealther says plantains is plural. Okay, well, I'm mostly just talking about like how do you say it with the I or the AI, like the plantain or plantain. Plural or singular, how does that pronunciation work for you? Hi, Marjorie Austin. Marjorie Austin says plantain from Haiti. Okay, so if I'm going to trust your judgment then, so I'm not too far off. Hi, Lakiva McGee. Lakiva McGee says, I'm from Maryland and I never say it correctly. You know what? Self-awareness, because y'all know I will pronounce something all wrong and just keep it pushing. Almost everything I pronounce wrong can be accredited to my accent, being a Texan and just saying some things very countryly, which is not a word, but just like saying things with a very country twang. I try to correct things as I go, but then some stuff I'm just like, you know what I mean? You be all right. Hi, Lady P. Lady P says she's Jamaican. You want plantain. Okay. So you are one of the ones. Okay. Well, then I trust your judgment as well. Hi, Sylvia Fielder. Sylvia Fielder says, good afternoon, Sharion and Sussex Squad family. Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, yeah. Lakiva McGee says, Mexican veggies are so good. Whew, some of the best, some of the best. I was actually talking about this on the Patreon video that'll come out tomorrow, which is like the live rewatch and recap in the moment. That there is something so special about homemade Mexican food. It is very rare for me to go to a high-end restaurant for Mexican food. Same. I don't buy soul food either. I like literally don't buy soul food. I don't buy barbecue. Like there's some things that you have to know the hands that made it. It's just it's special and it tastes better when it was made at home in a kitchen or on a big smoker. But Mexican food is one of those things. I think because I grew up with a lot of access to it and a lot of access to homemade Mexican food, that when I see high-end restaurants, I'm like, they're not gonna know what to do. I don't think I've ever bought soul food anywhere and actually was satisfied with it, because I feel like my family makes the best. I feel like everybody who grew up with soul food, their family makes the best soul food. But something about Mexican food is so good. The hole in the wall restaurants, they always have good food. They always have good Mexican food. And then if you live in a place where the tamale man comes around in a truck, if you know the tamale man, then those are the best tamales to buy. You can't buy them anywhere else. If the tamale man and the truck come around, you get the tamales. Even if you're not craving them right now, you will be mad you missed out later. So always get the tamales. Oh, good. Okay. Y'all are answering. Yes, I agree. Lakiva McGee says Meghan has the whole world cooking now. Yes, and also like taking their time and like patiently going about it and like making it fun and making it enjoyable. It kind of takes me back to what she said, and we'll get there. What she said with who was it? Vicky Sai, when Vicky was like, the difference between a routine and a ritual is intention. I feel like that's one of the reasons why, or maybe the main reason why, when people say you cook with love, it tastes better. Because when you cook in a bad mood, you can tell the difference than when you cook with love, when you are taking your time and you're in a good mood and you're just putting your all into the dish, kind of like Thanksgiving. Whenever I'm cooking Thanksgiving food, I turn off the TV, I turn on music, I just get in a vibe. If I do have the TV on, it'll always be on Soul Food, the movie. It'll just be playing in the background. But when you are cooking and you're in the like positive vibe on that high frequency, your food absolutely can tell. You can tell when you eat that food. So cooking with love. I love that it's with love, Meghan, because literally she cooks with love, and cooking with love is literally the secret ingredient. Like you can tell the difference between somebody tossing in veggies and tossing in ingredients versus someone cooking and creating a meal and considering your appetite and your tastes and satiation when they're making your food. There's a big difference. But I love seeing the videos of everybody like showing how they make certain things. That's been probably my favorite part. My favorite response from social media since the show came out is people showing how they make some of the same dishes in their kitchens with, like, I saw some with their kids running around. I was like, this is such a good byproduct of an already great show. It's got people kind of in their vibe, like kind of sharing part of their life in a healthy and a happy way. It was such a needed show. I could go on forever, but let me stop y'all. Hi, Monticello. Monticello says, plantain or plantains, not a banana from a Canadian. Well, no, it's not a banana. No, that's not. I agree. Hi, Lakiva McGee. Lakiva says, Sharion, we love your podcast. Well, thank you. I'm glad because you love us and you take your time and explain things so well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sometimes I be feeling like I yap too much. Like I'll rewatch it, like, because I like to rewatch stuff and I'll take notes of like, okay, I should probably do this less or do this more. Like touching my face is something I have really been working on, y'all. I promise. Because I have a habit. Half the time I be talking, I'm like touching my face or like scratching my eye, and at some points, I'm like, girl, put your hands down. So I'm glad that you are enjoying the podcast. Hi, Tamiko Hinman. Tamiko says, I love plantain chips from Sprouts. What? I didn't even know they had those. Okay, so I'm going to try them. Thank you so much, Tamiko, because you done put me on. I was going to try to make them. I don't think my kitchen wants that. I don't think my kitchen wants me to experiment. I think I'm good with cooking what I already know how to cook, because it was a journey to get to where we are now. I don't think my kitchen wants me to keep experimenting. At least the bottom of my oven does. I have every week I have to go deep clean my oven because I be rough on it during the week. What's that? Oh, hi, Claudia Sims. Claudia Sims says Meghan was really peeling those plantains. She was, and she was good at it too. Everything she was doing, even the things she was doing that were new to her, she just does with such care. And something I noticed is everyone who cooked with her remarked in some way about her love of cooking and how invested she is. Everybody did. That was something I noticed in every single guest who cooked with her. They were like, you are really interested in this. You're really good at this. Every chef complimented her too. Do you know how good you have to be at something for your chef to compliment you? I was like, you know what? I want to taste Meghan's food at some point. I'm excited to taste the jam. Can I call it jam? I'm excited to taste the preserves. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Tamiko says, yep, I am not going to burn some plantain chips. Me either. Some things I just leave to the professionals. I fully agree. Okay, so some of the activities in episode 6 were she made the floral bouquet. I love that bouquet. She made the floral bouquet and then she dehydrated citrus. So she did oranges and lemons, I believe. I don't remember if there were limes, but I do remember oranges and lemons. And then we saw her play Mahjong. This is my first time hearing about Mahjong ever. Have y'all ever heard of Mahjong? Let me know. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize the music was off. It sounds so quiet. Let's turn some music on. But have y'all ever heard about Mahjong? This is my first time, and it looks like a fun game. I like games where you can play it, and they move at a pace, but you don't have to be intense to where you can actually enjoy the game. Like, there's 2 different types of games I like to play when people come over. I'll play like Uno or like games like that with family if we see each other all the time. But if it's people that I haven't seen a lot and I haven't caught up, I typically don't play games with them because I don't want to rush. And when you're playing, you're kind of invested in what's in front of you and it's not so easy to commune. But something I noticed about Mahjong, they were having good conversation and they were keeping the game going and it was still making and allowing time to connect. So I might look into a little Mahjong or other games similar to it that might be fun to play with people as you're connecting. Oh, it's an app? Oh, wow. That's really cool. Hi, Mina Ruth. Mina Ruth says, I'm going to try the Korean fried chicken recipe and the spaghetti. Ooh, please let me know how that goes. I have seen so many people trying the recipes and really enjoying them. And I think the best part about it that kind of puts it apart from like other cooking shows, I think the best part is that none of the recipes require these must go up into the mountains and ride the back of a donkey to peel the one mushroom off the top. It's like, you don't have to go far and wide to get these recipes or to get these ingredients. Like, these are common ingredients, even if they're not native to where you're from. Your farmer's market or your local grocer will have them. All the recipes are pretty simple and all of the steps are pretty simple. So I think that's why people are having such success recreating the dishes, because I'll be honest, I watch a lot of cooking shows. Top Chef is one of my favorite shows, and I'm not going to try to make anything from there at all. I know my limitations. I know my strengths. Like Abby, she has other strengths. Same, because I watch Top Chef and I'm like, child, everybody ain't able. I'm everybody. I'm everybody. I remember once I was going to try to make a pea puree, all because of that episode where if you watch Top Chef, you know the pea puree, somebody stole another person's pea puree and they swear up and down they didn't steal it, but no one saw them make the pea puree. But the other guy who lost his, he stayed up most of the night making it and then it went missing and this other guy magically had it. And that episode is so funny, but it made me want to try to make pea puree. No. That's when I learned that was the beginning and the end of my Top Chef replication career. It wasn't going far. Hi, Joan. Hi, Joan Commonwealther. Joan says, I bought several Mahjong CD. I love playing it. It's challenging and fun. I need to get into it because it looked like a fun game. Hi, Joan Garcia. Joan Garcia says, I love how Meghan had us being the hostess and the host with the mostest. I agree. Yes. And she looks like she was having fun. I think the reason she has not only good creative ideas, but also it lands with everybody is because, one, she is extremely intentional with how she welcomes certain people. I noticed that she knows a little bit about them and she incorporates that into whatever she does for them. Like, when Chef Velasquez was coming over, the first thing she said was, "I heard that you're a fan of Americano coffee or iced Americano coffee." Like little things like that. And then when she saw Chef Roy Choi, she said, "I heard you a fan of donuts." Like, and she made donuts. So she's very intentional as a host. And you can just see like she puts a lot of care into that. You know, I think I don't want to like summarize it too much, but one thing I'm kind of seeing is I think the reason people are responding so much to this show in particular, because again, it's not the first of its kind, but I do think it's unique in the way that it incorporates all of her interests. So it's not the first cooking show. It's not the first hosting show. It's not the first crafts show or gardening show. But it's unique because it incorporates all of those things. And what makes it even more set apart is that they're all her personal interests. So she wasn't casted to teach these things or show these things. She wasn't casted as an actress. She is sharing her life. So everything she is doing is natural and innate to her. And I think that's why it comes off so well, because it's something she would do anyway, whether there was a camera there or not. And I think that's why that authenticity is what's really coming across. And I'm going to be real. I hate that she had to push back the start date because of those circumstances. But I actually think March was the better start date because we're about to go into spring. And this show is very spring oriented. It is very warm weather esque. And so I love that. But also premiering this after the inauguration, when we've had nothing but weeks of bullcrap from our administration over here in America, seeing something in our entertainment that's not only loving and warm and authentic, but positive. Whew. She knew we would need a palate cleanser for our psyche, and she absolutely delivered that, because I feel like people are just kind of missing things that feel natural, things that feel real, things that feel positive. We're not getting a lot of that. A lot of our content is already heavily saturated with drama and action and gore and all kinds of stuff. Everybody's trying to take it up a notch, and like entertainment as a whole, not even just TV or movies, but everybody's trying to take it up a notch. Everybody's trying to have a twist ending, and everybody's trying to have the most gore and the shocking and all this. It is really nice to just watch something that someone is just showing us all the things she loves. And it's things that we can all do. And I think my favorite part is that none of it is outside of like the typical standard price point of what people can afford. You can pretty much do everything she's doing and cook everything she's cooking on any budget. And I think that's my favorite part, because I think people who are saying it's unrelatable, they're gonna say that anyway. I just ignore them. But one of the reasons they say that is because she is royalty. And before she was royalty, she was already rich. Mama is self-made, and she was a celebrity. So on two aspects, she's unrelatable in that way from the typical person who's watching her show. But something that comes along with that is people thought she was going to be doing things and showing things that were expensive, like things that we couldn't afford, or having food that we can't source, like, oh, caviar toothpaste and stuff like that, like people aren't going to typically be able to afford. I think the twist in it, and what got everybody who felt that way and who made snap judgments and prejudged the show, I think the twist on it is she didn't do any of that. She showed what was already natural to her, things that she actually likes. Like there's no put on, there's no pomp and circumstance, there's no horse and pony show. It's literally just Meghan sharing Meghan. And that's why everything is so affordable, realistic, and it's attainable. I think the way people have responded to the show, outside of just being entertained, is like, she brought us along with her and exposed us to things that we could also partake in. That's not the norm. Like I said, I watch Top Chef all the time. I'm not about to get in no chef's kitchen and get to chopping the way they chop. I would cut my whole hand off. Like, I can't relate to the majority of the things that I watch. I just watch them for entertainment. And what's so funny about people saying that this show is unrelatable, it's like one of the only shows that I actually found relatable. Like, they couldn't have been more wrong, but that's kind of the case for them all the time. Oh, let's go back to some of the comments, you guys. Oh, hi, Veronica Quick. Veronica Quick says they played Mahjong in the movie Crazy Rich Asians. I love that movie. That wedding scene, one of the best. But I didn't even notice that. I'm going to have to go back and watch. I don't even think I noticed it. All right, let's see. I'm going to have to go back and watch that because I see y'all saying that and I didn't even notice it. Ooh, hi Lakiva McGee. Lakiva says, I pray Meghan makes some seafood dishes on the second show. Yes, or a little bit of soul food. I loved hearing her talk about like her palate and her cuisine and saying that soul food was a big part of her diet and traveling with her mom and trying all different types of food and experiencing different types of cultures. It has given her a very high tolerance to like spice and things like that. And you can tell she's very well-rounded. She's very well-rounded. That makes sense. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lakiva went on to say the donuts look so good with edible flowers. Yes, they did. Absolutely. Okay, let me continue because I done paused my recap. Okay. Also, one more thing. I've never given thought to how you would dehydrate citrus. I've seen that, but I don't know that I've ever even thought twice about how that's done. But this was my first time seeing a machine that dehydrates things. Like, I don't know what I expected, but I didn't know that was a thing. I was so impressed when she whipped that out. I was like, wait, what? A dehydration machine? She's got everything. Like, I mean, goodness gracious. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought that was so cool. You're clearly seeing how inexperienced I am in the kitchen in this way. But I just thought that was such a cool thing that she whipped out. So some notable moments from episode 6. Meghan learning Mahjong. It originated in the 1800s in China. I love that she's trying a game like that, but I thought it was funny that she said they play a modern version called American Mahjong. So I wonder how those differ. I'm going to look that up. I also appreciated the comments that she made about learning something new with your friends and how that benefits your bonding. I fully agree when she said it expands the friendship. Yes, when you are learning something with other people, you kind of learn to depend on them a little bit because you're all retaining information together and you're all doing something new at the same time. So no one has more advanced knowledge, no one has less. You're all doing something together. And anytime you engage in that thing, you will think about the people you were with when you learned it. So I thought that was such a good point to make. I also think that just kind of plays into some of the other commentary I've had about Meghan being an extremely active friend. She invests in her relationships, but especially her friendships and her family relationships. And it's very clear. And look at the cycle of love that they all have together. They reciprocate as well. So I just thought that was such an interesting note. She's good at making friends, which we'll get there, but she is good at making friends and keeping friends. I also appreciate that in episode 6, she chose to bring on a local chef. Chef Velasquez is from that area. And I thought that was great because one, they were making food with ingredients that were sourced in that area. So they were native. I thought that was great because he'll understand the ingredients a lot better. But also he wasn't this huge name with his name on a marquee and all that stuff. He was local, meaning that now he's probably booked up a couple of months. Like people in that area who want a chef have now seen him locally with Meghan and will probably be interested in his services. So I thought that was such a nice thing that she chose to do. I also like the tip that she gave. Put raw fish in the freezer for a second before you cut it because it's easier to cut. Why didn't I know that already? I make fish all the time and I have literally never thought about that. I just deal with the slippery slides. I've never thought about that before, but that was such a good tip. I never knew that before. Let's see. Now for the funny moments of episode 6. Whenever he said they were going to make tinga and Meghan goes, it's tinga time. She has a witty bar for everything. I thought that was funny. Also, Meghan splashing herself. That was funny. Her reaction was so calm and cool. Like she doesn't react to stuff. She's very calm. She is very calm. Like some people would have freaked out. I mean, think about it. She's wearing some pretty expensive clothes. So like orange juice and lemon juice getting all over you is not ideal. But she just has such a perspective. Like some stuff's important and some stuff is not worth the fuss. I really want to get to that place where I'm able to keep perspective in all situations because she seems to be really good at it. And then lastly, that funny moment when Meghan and Tracy are making cocktails and Meghan is talking about heat and she says, we want to have a little kick to it. And Tracy's like, I want a little more than a kick because Tracy was talking about alcohol and Meghan was like, I was talking about spice. Tracy was like, no, ma'am, you're going to have to pour up for me. She did not want to miss her sips. And you know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I thought that was such a funny moment. Okay, let me get back to some comments. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, I am loving the imagination that people have taken Meghan's dishes and making it their own. I fully agree. I absolutely agree. It's been really interesting to see too. Did you see how Meghan was working that knife, cutting up her vegetables, etc.? Yes, she's clearly right at home in the kitchen. She has skills. And even, was it Chef Velasquez who complimented her on her cutting skills, on her knife use skills? And I said, that's a big compliment coming from a chef. That's the one thing about cooking that I've always been really apprehensive about, is feeling too comfortable and then hurting myself, because I have very, very sharp knives and I sharpen them every week. I'm always cooking and I've never gotten very comfortable using them. I always have a tinge of anxiety because I feel like the moment I'm like, oh, I got it, my hand's gonna be on the floor. So I was really impressed with her knife use skills as well. Hi, TCC Sun. It's good to see you. Why'd I add an extra C? Hi, TCC Sun. TCC says 92% needs fun. Yes, we do. Smiles and beauty right now. Yes. Yes. I cooked the spaghetti and had homemade spaghetti and overcooked. Oh, we were up to such a good start and overcooked it. I have to start over in less time. You know what? That's just more to eat. I mean, listen, when you make mistakes with food, you just get to cook again and you get to eat again. It's not so bad. That's not so bad, but I hope it turns out better this time. Best of luck with you. Let's see. What? Hi, TNO Institute. TNO says, I dehydrated citrus in my oven thanks to Mrs. Sussex. Well, how did that turn out? What'd you use it for? Like, did you put it in a drink? Did you put it in a recipe? Let me know. Hi, Lakiva. Lakiva says, now we understand why the royals were so jealous of Meghan. She's very smart. You know what, too? I noticed, yes, she is very smart, but something else I noticed is she has a way of making people feel seen and included. Like, she knows little facts about them. She makes little jokes with them. She is very touchy-feely. Like, she hugged people. She rubbed their back. Like, she was encouraging. I feel like just she's equal parts smart and personable and pretty. I gotta be real, that's not the most common combination, because a lot of people are heavy on one or two and then inept in the others. A lot of people can be very, very smart, but they have a hard time communicating that. A lot of smart people struggle with that. And then some people can be very pretty, but they're not personable. And sometimes that's because they've never had to have personality. A lot of beautiful people, men and women, they've never had to enhance or operate with personality. They've never had to be charismatic because people are already drawn to them because they're pretty. That's why a lot of really pretty people can't dress, because they've never had to try. But it's so interesting. Meghan is so intentional about everything in her life, and she's got a great personality. She can clearly cook. She's got a lot of skills. She's very smart. She's very personable, and she's very pretty. I just think it was too much for them. I think they were just like, shit, like, what? Who made you? You're not a real person. You were created. You were not born. I think it was overwhelming to them, because if you aren't secure, if you don't like yourself, when other people love themselves, it personally offends you. I've noticed that in a lot of different, you don't have to be royal to suffer from that. But a lot of people who struggle with self-esteem or self-worth, when they're around people who operate unapologetically and are confident and are competent, it rubs them the wrong way, because they feel like it's a personal dig. It's a highlight of what they lack. And instead of paying attention to that area and say, ooh, I could really use a little bit more in this area, they get offended that you pointed that out to them. I think it comes back down to the same reason people get mad when you correct them. People cannot stand to feel like they were wrong, as opposed to seeing it as a starting point to learning something new. And I think Meghan and people like her who operate in their truth and authenticity, people who don't operate like that cannot connect to it. And they feel personally vilified or just personally offended if you dare to love yourself, because who the hell do you think you are? I don't like me, so why do you like you? Also, I've noticed too, people who have to prove themselves, or people who feel like they have to win over others, they get mad when people don't do that for them. when people don't seek their validation, when especially people who've been born in, or been raised in privilege, people who feel like you should want my approval, you should need my approval. And when they come across people who are like, I'm actually good, thanks, they're like, who the hell are you? It's one of the main reasons, I've said this, it's one of the main reasons Black women in particular have some of the worst corporate experiences, because they are in these pressure cookers with people who are often not experienced with working with others who are unlike themselves. And working that closely with people who are unlike yourself can reveal a lot about you. And if you're going into it with a bad attitude, or you're going into it without any self-awareness, being around someone who society has told you is lower than you, and that person not acquiescing to your entitlement, that feels like a personal attack. I feel like it's the same kind of thing with Meghan. I feel like she just operates in her truth, and she's good at a lot of things, and she's very smart and very pretty. She's got a lot going for her, and she doesn't apologize for it, but she's also very humble, and she doesn't throw it in your face. She just is. I think a lot of people just have a hard time accepting that she really can just be that great. And it's not an act. It's who she is. People don't like that. People don't like polished. It's one of the reasons why one of the 48 laws of power is don't appear too perfect. That's exactly why that is. Because when you are competent and confident in yourself, it reveals a lot about other people, and people do not like to feel seen. People don't like those things that they've hidden to feel revealed. It makes them feel very exposed, and they get very defensive. They kind of react like a cornered animal. Like, I'm going to hold on to my victimhood. I'm going to hold on to my faults. I'm not going to share that. And you're exposing me. You are an enemy. You're a threat. She was not going to work out in that family no matter what she did. Even if she had played the game their way, if she had toned herself down and been very meek and shut her mouth and whatever they wanted her to do, had she done that, they still wouldn't have liked her, because she is who she is. The issue wasn't how she behaved or how she operated. The issue was that she was who she was. The issue was that she was a very talented, very successful, very happy, very intelligent person. And no matter what they put in front of her, no matter what they did to her, she was still who she was. People cannot take your light. So that's really what they wanted. They wanted her light. You can't take that from somebody. You can learn from people, but when you're entitled and feel like everything starts and ends with you, you're not going to admit that you want to learn from somebody. You're just going to try to bring them back down so that you can feel elevated. She was not going to work out in that family, and good for her, because they really didn't deserve her. She made them better. And in that way, I'm so glad their karma was that they no longer have access to her. Do you know how disappointed in myself I would be if Meghan could have been in my circle, in my social circle, in my life in any way, and I messed it up? I would have to live with that for the rest of my life. Now, I wouldn't be complaining to the tabloids, but like they are, but I would still feel real butthurt. Like, dang, I really messed that up. But I'm not going to admit it, though. I'm going to just be bitter about it. They really screwed up. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Joan Commonwealth there. Joan says the fish skin would be firmer. Yes, when you put it in the freezer, it makes it a little firmer and makes it really easy to cut. That tension helps the knife go through. Absolutely. Hi, TNO Institute. TNO says, I totally see Meghan having dinner with Chef Velasquez's staff before a shift as they discussed. Yes, I wonder if she ever did that, because I think these episodes, I know some of them were filmed last year, and I'm not sure if any were filmed before that, but it's been a little while since they filmed, so I wonder if they've had an opportunity to have that little date. That sounds fun. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, Meghan did say she's not there for perfection, and she did make mistakes during the tape. Yes, Justin, poor little dumplings, not dumplings, pot stickers. She was just being human and herself in front of and behind the cameras. And that's why everybody connected. I really love that she brought herself to the show, because she really could have just done like a regular show where she's like, oh, I sit with a chef and he teaches me how to make something really, really advanced and cool and blah, blah, blah. She brought herself to the show. I'm very grateful for that. Okay. Hi, TNO. TNO says, I use the dehydrated citrus for teas. I baked at 140 for 4 to 5 hours. I will do blood oranges, hopefully finding at Farmer's Market this weekend. Ooh, I hope that turns out well. I'm sure it will be delicious. All right, let's continue. We're going to move forward with episode. Give me 1 second. My dog has got some shoes that she should not have. 1 second. Put this down, Rosalind. Now, no more. Enough. Parenting is hard. My schnauzer came running through my office with my husband's brand new running sneakers. He's not gonna be too happy about that, but we just gonna move forward. That's between him and her. So we're gonna recap episode 7, Elevating the Everyday. Now, this one was, I don't know how to describe it, but I felt like this episode was breezy. That's the only like adjective I can think of. It just felt cool and easy. There was such an ease to this episode. It was very relaxing. And I think because both Meghan and Vicky Sade have such calm and soothing narrating voices and just speaking voices, this episode, I caught myself as I was watching it. I had leaned all the way back. I was just watching relaxed. Every other one, I was kind of like up taking notes, trying to remember everything so we could talk about it. And in that one, I was just in it. I was just in the moment. That was probably the most relaxing episode that we had. But her guest was Vicky Sade. She's the owner of Tatcha, a skincare company. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys remember, but Tatcha was on Oprah's list of favorite things this past Christmas. And it's because Meghan had gifted it to her, which I love that. And then also Vicky Sade had worked with Meghan on the TIG. She was a guest editor, a guest contributor, excuse me, and she did the travel guide, which is very cool. So the cuisine made in this episode was coffee with homemade creamer, croissants, so croissant, depending on how you want to say it, pot stickers, chili oil, pot sticker sauce, and blooming tea. All of it looked good. Now, those pot stickers, there were quite a few steps, but they were very simple steps. They were very simple. I would like to try to make those. I typically buy pot stickers. I've never made any, but it seems like a pretty easy thing to make. And so for the activities, Meghan made a harvest basket, and a big harvest basket at that. She absolutely operates in abundance. Do y'all remember when we read, I'm trying to think of the magazine publication. It'll come to me. But we read those accounts of people who had worked with and for Meghan. And most of them said that when you go to her house, she always sends you away with like a big basket of goodies. And we're now seeing that play out on screen. I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, there it is. That's exactly what they said. But we also saw them make skin masks. Now, those skin masks, I love that they were made with all natural elements or all natural ingredients. So I would like to try to remake those, but I'm actually just going to invest in some Tatcha. I'm just going to get some Tatcha. Do y'all use Tatcha? If so, how did it work for your skin? So let's get into some notable moments. Some notable moments from the episode. Meghan acknowledging that not everyone has a garden. She didn't for a long time. She didn't have a garden growing up. So she promotes going to farmers markets. I appreciate that she made that point, but part of me feels like people who are complaining, like the whole unrelatable thing, they kept saying that. They were like, not everybody has a garden. And I'm like, is it something in the air? Is it the smog? Do you really need somebody to hold your hand to tell you where to get fresh veggies and produce? Like, you really thought Meghan intended for everyone in her audience to have their own garden? You really thought that? The answer is no. They were being obtuse. Of course you can go to the farmer's market. Of course you can go to the urban gardens. People were just trying to be obtuse. But I love that regardless, she was still very much like, I'll offer you your alternatives as well, even though you should already know them, but she offered them to you anyway. So please be grateful. I love the farmer's market. I actually started going to the farmer's market pretty religiously when I was in college because I was balling on a budget and I wanted fresh foods, but I also needed to save some money. And the farmer's market was so good for that. I got better food quality, better ingredients. I spent less money and I got more. I got way more than I would at a grocery store because we're cutting out the middleman. And I was able to cook more dishes. So I was able to eat a lot more food. I was way more satiated. That had a direct effect on my success in school because I was able to focus. I was feeling better. I had a lot more energy. I retained things more. And it all started just me being a little broke and going to the farmer's market to try to get ingredients so I could try to hustle up some good food because eating out was killing my budget. But also the only thing that I could really afford to keep doing was like those lean cuisines, but that's not enough food. And in college, I was like 120 pounds. I had no business eating lean cuisines, but it's all I could afford in bulk. And then I started going to the farmer's market and I've been going ever since. I also like the idea of paying people directly for their hard work. I love that that farmers and that people who go to the farmers market or sell at the farmers market, they get to see you take their things. They get the money in their hand for the hard work that they put in. And it is a lot of hard work to grow anything, let alone to grow food. So that's just something I prefer to do. And it's good to get to know them. I don't know if you guys remember, Meghan did that like day on the town or a day in the life in Toronto. And I've shown it on this channel a bunch, but it's currently in full on my Patreon. But where she talked about not only the farmers market, but the Kensington market in Toronto and the power of going and getting veggies and produce directly from the source. She didn't have a garden in Toronto. She was going to the farmers market and the Kensington market. And then she also showed how she learned all about how to get good cuts of meat. And that's because she was just having in-depth conversations with a butcher in Kensington market. So if you haven't seen that, I'll repost it if you'd like, but it's a really good segment. She taught a lot about food in like 3 minutes. It's a very good segment. So another notable moment was Meghan's story about making Vicky a harvest basket. When Vicky moved into her neighborhood, she made her a big harvest basket. And then Vicky took the ingredients that Meghan gave her, made pot stickers with her mother, and then they gifted those to Meghan. And I just thought, what a beautiful cycle of love and reciprocity. Talk about eating and communing with love. I thought that was such a good story and so considerate on both ends. They seem like very good friends. Another notable moment, the eggs in the harvest basket were from Archie's Chick Inn. So they are high quality, good sourced eggs, probably the best. Let's see. Another little note. Did y'all know the reason pot stickers are shaped that way? I didn't. I learned that on this episode. So they're shaped like ancient Chinese money, which is why they're served at Chinese New Year to welcome in abundance and money. I did not know that, but I tell you what, every New Year moving forward, or every Chinese New Year moving forward, we will be having some pot stickers. I know that much. Let's see. I know y'all know what I'm going to say next. Probably everybody's favorite moment from this episode was the conversation about perfection not being beauty, or there's no beauty in perfection. There's beauty in the things that are broken, things that are fixed, things that are healed, things that are sealed. I just thought that whole conversation, I felt like we all needed that. I feel like that part of the episode was such a sigh of relief. I thought it was so beautiful. That was a very sweet part. And then, of course, I already mentioned Meghan revealing that her mom was a travel agent, and that growing up, she and her mom would travel all over and try all different kinds of foods and try all different kinds of cuisines. But I also want to point this out too. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking about Meghan meeting new people and how she connects with people. And I said then, before I'd seen this, I was like, you can tell Meghan is like a well-rounded person, that she's been exposed to a lot of things that are unlike herself. And that plays into how she moves with people. She always operates with respect, great deal of respect. She's always making sure to operate with people, especially within their culture, with as much respect and gratitude as possible. And that's why people respond to her that way. But another side effect of that, or another benefit to that, is she has a very high tolerance for things. People who are well-rounded or who've been exposed to different cultures as a learning experience, or as an experience to learn something new, experience something new, be curious. People who are exposed in that way operate as an adult with a whole lot less judgment. And when they operate with less judgment, they have a higher tolerance. They're more empathetic. They're more considerate. And not only that, but they don't look at differences as faults. That's sometimes how people, not even intentionally or maliciously, people are just wired to see if there's a difference between you and I, then that's more so a fault on your behalf because I'm right. Whereas people who are well-rounded and exposed to a lot of different cultures and a lot of different experiences, they don't see differences as faults. They see them as learning opportunities. They see them as opportunities to experience something new. And overall, that just makes a more well-rounded human being, and a human being that contributes, to their community in a positive way. And so I said that then because I can't remember if the topic was their royal tours, and how I love that they're still touring for Archewell and they're still expanding their scope for Archewell and their foundation by going and doing these visits. But that was something that I really missed about their time in royal life. So it's great to see them traveling again. But when they were in the royal world, when they were working royals, that was my favorite part about watching them move, was how they went on tours. And the reason their tours in particular were so successful is because, yes, they were very famous, and they are probably the most popular couple in the world. I would say, I can't think of anybody who would be more popular than them or more famous than them. But also because when they went, they fully immersed themselves in the culture. Look how they operated in Colombia. Look how they operated in Nigeria. Look how they operate in South Africa. Like, they fully immerse themselves in the culture. Meghan wears local designers. They eat the food. They expose little known things about that area. They show the world the beauty in every culture that they immerse themselves in. And that's clearly something Meghan has had a habit of doing. And it's clearly something that Harry has a habit of doing because of Princess Diana. And so I love that they say that they're destined, because when you zoom out, yes, the hell they were. They absolutely were. But being exposed to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different experiences, people who are unlike yourself, it makes you have a really high tolerance, and you typically build community a lot better because you don't operate with judgment and entitlement. And I feel like this show was kind of a reminder of that. She didn't just make one type of food. You didn't just see one type of friend. You didn't just see one race of person. You saw Meghan's world, and Meghan's world is diverse as hell. I mean, diverse in all kinds of ways, from food to race to culture to where they live, their interests. Meghan has a very diverse world. And I think that's why it's so easy for people to connect with her, because she's eager to connect with them and not judge them. Anyway, that's just something I pulled away from that part. When she was talking about her mom being a travel agent, I was like, I can see it. That makes perfect sense. And also when she was talking about the Korean spas that her mom used to take her to, when she talked about that on Archetypes too, but when she talked about it on this show, that immediately reminded me of that. Like, yep, I can see that. Because there's not just one way to be you. You is a culmination of all your experiences. So why not go out and experience as much as you can and enjoy life? It seems like that's how she was raised, and it makes sense why she is the way she is. Another part of this episode was Vicky Sade talking about the power of rice water. If you know, you know. I love that she mentioned that, because rice water it's a great element if you're trying to have healthy skin, but also healthy hair. I went on like a hair journey to repair my damaged curls years ago before I went natural. I realized that I had done a lot of damage with chemicals and heat. And so when I started looking up all natural ways to kind of restore my hair and like take it back to its original curl pattern and make it healthy, I discovered Alyssa Forever on YouTube. I'm not sure if she's still on YouTube, but she used to have a really big channel, and I loved Alyssa. But Alyssa Forever showed all natural ways to restore your hair, how to protect your hair, protein treatments from all natural ingredients. And rice water was something that she showed on her channel. And I use that religiously. I do a rice water rinse once a month, as well as a protein mask once a month from all natural stuff. And so it was interesting, or all natural ingredients. So it was interesting to hear Vicky Sade, someone who's an expert in skincare and hair and health, talk about rice water. That's kind of like a cultural thing. A lot of people don't know about rice water. That's kind of like something that's passed down, or that you learn within the fold. So I love that she shared that with millions of people, the power of rice water. Vicky also said, I love this. Vicky said, the cleansing at the beginning and the end of your day bookends your day with self-care. Yes. And she said the difference between a routine and a ritual is intention. And it's a great moment to cleanse and let go of anything that does not serve you. I love that little reminder. Vicky seems like somebody I would love to be friends with. She is just my vibe through and through. Another moment that I liked was Meghan sharing with Vicky that her tip to do her self-care routine and invest in her own self-care and just have a moment is something that she takes with her, and she still does to this day, thanks to Vicky. I like that she gives people their flowers in the moment. She doesn't talk about people in retrospect. She talks to them about the things they contribute to her life. I thought that was sweet. And then the last notable moment I wanted to bring up was at the very end, when they're sitting down to have their tea, And Vicky looks at Meghan and she goes, you 10 years ago would be so proud of you right now, which she is such a good vibe. She is such a good vibe. And then Meghan says, can you imagine 10 years from now, where will we be? And they were thinking about it. And Meghan goes, it's going to be fantastic. I love that moment because yes, it's positive. But y'all remember I said Meghan is a woo-woo lady? Like I said that 1,000,001 times. I agree. I'm also a woo-woo lady. Like you know it when you see it. When I saw that, what is it called? The evil eye on her wrist. I was like, you are spiritually protected, ma'am. Yes. And you deserve. But when she said that, it just brought back to me what a lot of people who I look up to and I get advice from, especially spiritual advice, they always say, claim dominion over your life. You have to call into your life what you want. You have to call into your life what you want to see, and you have to pretty much make demands of what you will and will not experience. And when you speak of yourself, when you speak of your life in any way, it has to be productive and it has to be positive, because you get what you ask for. So if you're always saying, oh, I'm so miserable, oh, I'm so sad, or I'm so tired, or oh, I'm anxious about the future, okay, it'll continue to manifest. But if you say it's going to be fantastic, then it's going to be fantastic. You called it. The man who believes in himself and the man who doesn't are both right. Or the man who believes he can and the man who believes he can't are both right. And that is very, very true. You have to claim dominion over your own life. She didn't leave room for error. She didn't leave room for second guessing. She said, no, it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to live a fantastic life. And she's absolutely right. Some funny moments, and then we're going to get to the comments. Some funny moments from this episode. Vicky and Meghan sharing their early work history or work stories. I'm glad they both found their lanes, because it doesn't sound like they were in the best spots for themselves. So Vicky talked about when she worked for Starbucks corporate, they require everyone to work in the actual store. I love that policy. Yep. If you're going to be affecting people's entire lives and careers by making high level decisions, you have to know what they experience in the day to day. Yes. And how to do their job. But she said when she worked as a barista, she wasn't very good. And they just relegated her to taking out the trash. That was like her duty. And I bet she took the best trash out better than anybody. I bet the way she knotted the trash bag, I'm sure it was better than anybody else. So I believe in you, Vicky. And then Meghan told the story of becoming a coat check girl. And while there, they decided to promote her to being a bartender. And the man that came had an accent, and he was asking her for a cowboy martini. And she was like, I don't know how to make that. I don't know what that is. Turns out he was asking for a Kettle One martini. And the way Meghan tells this part of the story, she says, her boss looks at her and goes, we're going to have you go back to coat check. At least she was nice about it. But you know what? She found her lane. You know, sometimes the way to find out where you belong is to find out where you don't belong. So at least she got back on track. But that was such a funny story. Let's see. Another funny moment. When they were putting the pot stickers on the pan, and Vicky's complimenting Meghan. She goes, you're doing such a good job. I can't tell the difference between yours and mine. And Meghan goes, I can. I love a self-aware queen. You know what? Just keep practicing. Eventually, you will also not be able to tell the difference. But that part had me in stitches. I was cracking up. Also, of course, the funny part when they dropped those pot stickers, but they recovered. When they dropped the pot stickers, I was laughing. But then too, when Vicky says, I got my Asian daughter badge just now. I've successfully completed my courses in Asian. I was like, hopefully she gets a medal and a certificate because she's earned it. And then lastly, the last funny moment I want to bring up was Meghan showing her hand post skin mask and kind of showing it to the camera. And she said, Vanna White. And I was like, Meghan, you are going to age cap some of your audience because not everybody knows who Vanna White is. And the thing is, those who know, we old, y'all. We're there now because a lot of people don't know who Vanna White is. And I'm like, Vanna White is iconic. But I actually saw this on TikTok. Somebody talked about Vanna. They were talking about unique careers in entertainment, like people who got paid to do very interesting but low impact things. And they were talking about Vanna White. But instead of saying Vanna White, like, because everybody should know her name, they were like, and there's this one lady from a long time ago, Vanna White. And I said, lady from a long time ago? I existed that time. So what you saying about me? We old now. Oh, well. Anyway, Vanna is iconic. Vanna is iconic. For anybody to get paid millions to push the button and look great while doing it, teach me your ways. That's somebody who found the cheat code to life. I still got to buy her book. So let me get to some comments before we move on to episode 8. Let's see here. Okay. Hi, Sharon Chung. Sharon Chung says, I have never seen a cooking show get so much bad review and talk about as WLM. Oh, with love. It's been a long day. And talk about as with love Meghan, and yet she is still winning. I think it's because they know the bad reviews are bullshit. Most of them popped up as soon as the show premiered. As soon as they were allowed to open the comment boxes, those reviews popped up. Because they weren't planning to watch the show. They knew what they wanted to say. They were trying to sabotage her. And I think I said this in yesterday's video, but the more people spread negativity, the more people send negativity Meghan's way, the more we realize how needed her show actually is, how needed her presence is in all of our homes. Like that positive energy, the more negativity they put out, the higher the need will be for what she's putting out there. So keep on hating, y'all. Keep on hating, and we will continue to enjoy the joy that she is bringing to us. Hi, Mina Ruth 2093. Mina Ruth says, exactly. Now that petty family is struggling to stay relevant in the 21st century, they really are. Nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about them. And even when they are welcome places, like when, was it William went to New York and nobody in our government and no politicians would meet with him. So he was like trying to find something to do. And you could tell like the event that they put him on, that little stage was just thrown together. Nobody cares because they aren't relevant. They're not actually contributing anything and they're not interesting. So like you got to have something. You got to either be interesting, you got to be beautiful, you got to have a story, you got to be contributing to the world. I've never seen people who are literally a level 0 in all categories. Most people have something. But not the royals, not the ones who are left over. Hi, Ruth C. It's good to see you. Hi, Ruth. Oh my God, Ruth C. I love your profile picture. Beautiful. So Ruth C says, hello, stunningly gorgeous. Oh, well, thank you so much. You are stunningly gorgeous as well. And all the ever so fantastic squatties. Love you all. We continue to rise with our amazing Mrs. Sussex and her beautiful family. Absolutely. I'm so grateful that she is like sharing her world with us. This has been the most enjoyable part of the show. Like, I love what she's showing us. I love the music. Y'all know the music is probably my favorite part. I love all the things we're learning, but I think my favorite thing about the show is that we're learning about Meghan and she's opening her world up, because it takes a lot of courage to share your intimate relationships with people, to share your friends with people, to share those bonds, those relationships. And the world has been pretty cruel to Meghan. So for her to do that, she's really brave and courageous to do that. I would worry that the more she shows, the more she exposes, the more people use that to harm her. But I think, and I don't even have to say I think, what it appears is that Meghan has gotten to a place where she knows she don't have anything to prove. And she knows that she is divinely protected. So she can move the way she moves because she's protected. Not just spiritually, but physically too, because there's a squatty on every corner. And we always watching. So you bother Miss Meghan, we gonna bother your ass. So I think that she's just gotten to the point where she's like, I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to operate in courage and I'm going to walk in my destiny. And look at how many people are affected in a positive way when she chooses to do that. Because she certainly don't have to now. Hi, SKT. SKT says, I started using Tatcha years ago because I learned about it from, wait for it, the TIG. Oh my God. Thank you for setting up that anticipation. I love that. But I didn't know that. Oh, how cool. I love the dewy skin cream, but it is pricey. You pay for what you want. You pay for quality. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'll let y'all know how it goes. Hi, Black Queen. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you. Let's see here. Hi, Lakiva McGee. Lakiva says, Meghan understands how important vegetables are to our body. Yes, and she sources them. Uh-oh, where did I go? Oh, pushed the wrong thing. And she sources them from her own garden, but I also love that she shares where everybody can get them. Farmers markets, urban gardens. You can make friends with a garden. But I love that she's very intentional about what she's cooking. It's all delicious, clearly, but also a lot of it is healthy. Now, I will say this. We'll get to episode 8, but when she and Alice Waters were eating that lettuce with the vinaigrette on it, it looked so good. And that lettuce was so crispy. It looked amazing. Oh, that looked real good. We'll get there. Hi, SKT. SKT says, yes, I have combo skin that gets drier as I get older. The dewy skin cream made my skin feel really hydrated. Okay, because I'm 37. And like every year, I realize I have to take a couple of more drops of like moisturizer. I use a little bit more every time, every year that goes by. So I definitely like to nourish my skin and keep it hydrated. So I'm going to check that out. Thank you so much. Hi, Joan Garcia. Joan Garcia says, Harry and Meghan could have been great ambassadors for Great Britain. The British royal family messed it up. Now Harry and Meghan are ambassadors for themselves. Yes, and their impact is increased. I would say doubly increased because they don't have the middleman and they don't have the politics of their protocols that are barriers to access for a lot of people. I love that by working for themselves and working for their own foundation, those barriers to access for people in need are no longer there. They can work directly with the under-resourced communities and the undersourced areas. They can get right to the people in need, much like they did with the wildfires. When the LA wildfires were going on, they went straight to the scene. They didn't have to set up event. They didn't have to put up like crowd control barriers. They didn't have to have all this stuff. They went there immediately and got to work. They sometimes, well, I won't even say sometimes, I'm kind of coming to the understanding because I've been reading a lot of Neville Goddard and Abraham Hicks and Joe Dispenza, but I'm sure some of y'all have picked up on that. I've seen some of the comments, but Neville Goddard says everything is happening for you. Nothing is happening to you. And while those experiences might not always be positive or enjoyable, they're all for your benefit. And I look at Harry and Meghan's situation and I'm like, that's a great example of that because what they endured was unfair, it was wrong, and it should have never happened. But the benefit of it is their lives are so much better on the other side. The way they live now is 10 times better than they would have ever been able to live as a royal, even if everything had gone perfect. And so everything is happening for our benefit. We just have to find the silver lining. We just have to find the benefit of it and where we can apply what we've learned or what we've experienced. And it seems like both of them have done such a wonderful job of like carving out their space in the world as individuals and as citizens. As far as them being royal, when people say that they're no longer royal, I just ignore them because that's stupid. That's like me saying, oh, I'm going to excommunicate from my family. So that means I'm no longer Black. You are what you are. You are who you are. No, you're still like Sharion is still Black, even if you don't talk to your family. Like they are royal. Harry was born royal, regardless of who he has a relationship with within that fold. He is who he is as a person. He married a woman who is now royal because she married him. Whether they are working or not is not important. And it's never mattered until now. That has never been an identifier until now. They've never made so many differences between working and non-working and made that such a big deal until now. The intention was to invalidate their royal status, but they are who they are. The best part about it is, although they are royal and no one can take that away from them, the fact of it is they don't even care about it. They don't even care. Being royal has nothing to do with their foundation, with their work, with their shows, with the way they operate, with their philanthropy. They don't use royal in anything that they do. And they're still 10 times more productive than the people over there who are wearing crowns and sitting in carriages and sitting on thrones. Like, again, everything is working to your benefit. They are royal and they don't even need to be. Talk about like people trying to hold that over their head as if they walk around with crowns on. You can't hold something over someone's head when it doesn't even factor into who they are. They just happen to be royal, but they're good people, and that's their focus. Not being good royals, they're good people. And that's why nobody's been able to stop them so far. I love that. Thank you so much, Black Queen. Please remember to thumbs up to the chat, share, subscribe. Thanks for unwavering support. Yes, I really appreciate that, y'all. Thank you so much. Hi Hills FR. Hills says, I loved when Meghan said that about their lives being fantastic in 10 years. You can tell she really believed it. Absolutely. I mean, honestly, the way Meghan cooks, as long as she can eat her own food, she will always be in a great place. She looked like she can throw down. So she already has the cheat code to life because she cooks well. That makes life so much better when you have good food to go along with it. It says she wasn't just paying lip service. This is how I intend to be from now on. I'm so glad. I'm glad that was your takeaway. Yes, because again, what you declare is what will be. What you declare is what will be, not toxic positivity. I can't stand toxic positivity where like you're going through something and people are like, but you got a benefit, right? Like, I hate that. Not toxic positivity. Seeing the actual silver lining, seeing what you can actually pull from experiences, positive and negative. That is what we should be doing to claim dominion over our lives. Yes. Hi, Black Queen. Black Queen says that was so authentic. I'm glad they kept that. Which part? Oh gosh, because I done got lost in the chat. So tell me which part you were referencing, Black Queen. Oh, TNO says, I have had dreams about those pot stickers and dipping sauce. Well, do you get to actually taste the food? Let me know. Is it as good in your dream as it looks on screen? Let me know. Hi, Stevie Rose. It's good to see you. Stevie Rose says, Sharion Sade, Casey really put out a playlist. Not too long after the show, news reporters are saying too little too late because of fraying relationships with the Commonwealth, basically missed the target. What? I have literally just completely divested from any news related to them. So I did not know that, but I'm going to look that up. Is that why people were saying he made a comment that Crazy in Love by Beyonce was one of the best songs of all time and that she was exquisite? Is that why people were saying that? I thought that was a joke. I have to look this up now. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to look it up. Hey, Gwen Daniel, the first word I saw and I clicked on your comment was pegging. I said, where are we going today, Gwen? Gwen Daniel says, pegging William and Clueless K are waste of... Oh my God. I love that y'all keep the same energy because same. We can be in a good mood, but we still gonna read them down because they deserve it forever and a day. They absolutely deserve it. Hi, SKT. SKT says, Meghan graduated from Northwestern, one of America's top 10 universities. Yep. Her intelligence and education intimidates some people and angers those who think they're superior because they're white. That is very, very true. People don't like seeing successful, happy, beautiful. Like they don't like seeing the full panel. They want you to have some kind of inadequacy, make it even. You know what? A long time ago, one of my professors was talking about how when you meet people, a good way to connect with people is to not appear too perfect, but to share something that you're not so great at so people feel comfortable. And I called BS on that. I said, why do I have to humble myself by finding some way to insult myself to make people like me? If that's the case, then I don't want them people to like me because I'm not going to be in their life anyway. Like if somebody needs you to show a fault to like you, they don't like you. And they're not going to like you because they're jealous. You cannot be friends with somebody who's jealous of you, and you cannot be friends with somebody that you pity. It will never work out because people who are jealous of you will stop at nothing to try and supersede you in some way or to bring you down. And people you pity, you will excuse a lot of the things that they do because you feel bad for them or you recognize that there's a plight that they have that maybe you don't. And you'll give them way more grace than they deserve. Take it from someone who knows. I let some friendships go on way too long because I felt bad for them. So I didn't always call them out on things that they did. Like I had this one friend named Britt who anytime she got around my mom or my dad, they would spend the whole time like insulting me. And it was so weird because individually when I would be around my parents or her, they didn't do that. But when they got together, they would spend the whole time like doing the common enemy thing. And to a certain extent, it can be okay. Like if you said like women be shopping, like that's harmless. Like if you make little jokes like that, but they would actually insult me, like actually insult me. Like I was sitting with my dad and Britt one time and I asked her, had she ever seen the Kardashians? Because at the time it was a new show. And I was like, have you seen that? Just asking out of curiosity. And my dad trying to make her laugh was like, she has better things to do with her time. And I was like, oh, excuse me? Like, if you want her attention, let me go up and get my stepmama. Maybe she'll have a conversation with you about that. You want attention a little too bad. But yes, that's just one version of like the kind of stuff. And it was hurtful. So I talked to my dad about the comment. He was like, oh, I didn't mean anything by it. It was just a joke. That's not funny. But then I tried to talk to her and she's like, oh, it was just a joke. He was just kidding, blah, blah, blah. I was like, but that hurt my feelings. Why would you laugh at that? Like, I don't even get what would be funny about that. Saying I'm worthless? What's funny about that? And she made so many excuses and it happened so often, but I also zoomed out and could see how she lived her life. And I could understand why she would have some kind of resentment for someone who wasn't living that way. Some people just have like an ugly duckling syndrome. Like they might not be ugly, but you can tell they don't think they're pretty. And I gave a lot of grace because of that. And I was always pouring into her and people who have been like her because I wanted them to see what I saw and be confident. And I knew once we're confident, this kind of stuff this lashing out will stop. It went on years. And then finally I said, you know what? No. So I learned that lesson in my early, you cannot be friends with somebody that you pity because you will give them too much grace. And you cannot be friends with somebody that you're jealous of because you will lash out at them. Some people don't. Some people see somebody with something they don't have and say, ooh, I would love to learn that skill. Or, ooh, I love her hair. Let me find out what she does. Like, that's kind of how I am. If I admire something about someone, I'll be like, your speech skills are great. Could you help me? Like, I like to commune over things that I like about people and admire. But some people are like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? You make me feel like shit about myself. Not I feel like shit about myself, but you make me feel that way. And that's just not the case. That's just not the case. So anyway, I share that to say, you got to be really mindful about who you pity and how close they get to you, because people will really try to harm you if they feel jealous of you. And a lot of things you'll ignore because you feel bad for them. That's no way to build a bond on either side. But I think that's one of the things that people feel so threatened by Meghan, because she's all those, like, these well-rounded things, of course, but she also has a very loving friend group and a loving cycle and circle of support. And I think people really want to believe that she's a bad person, but I'm gonna be very real. There are some really bad people with vast networks. Actually, a lot of bad people have vast networks, but you can tell. You can tell when people are only around you to suck at the power teat. You can tell when people are only around you for access. You can tell when people are only around because they're scared of you or whatever. But when you saw Meghan's friend group, they not only all love her, but she clearly all loves them. Like, they shared personal stories with each other, the way they giggled like schoolgirls, like they just had fun. They just had such positive vibes. Every friend she brought on, it felt like a sibling almost. Like, they all had really strong connections. You don't make connections like that, especially for 20 plus years with people, and you're a bad person. People are not going to invest in you, especially and show you their vulnerability if they're afraid of you. And I think people really want to believe that she has too much going for her. So I need to believe that she's a bad person inside. I need to think that so that I can be okay with her. When in actuality, some people really are just very blessed in a lot of different areas. And that is okay. That's a good thing. What's wrong with that? Why does that make people feel like that reflects on them at all? I think it's also too, some people go into the world and they'll meet people and immediately measure themselves against them. I don't understand that kind of thinking. Like, when I meet people, I'm meeting them, getting to know them, and I'll ask them questions, I'll answer whatever they have. But for the most part, we're just meeting. But when I realized that there are people who really meet new people and measure themselves, like, well, my hair better than hers, or her shoes, she think her shoes so cute, they not that cute. Like, whoa, a lot of tension here. When you could have just said hello, like Sheree on Real Housewives, whatever happened to hello? How are you? How are you doing? Like, yes, why are you measuring yourself against somebody? When I see other people, I don't think about how that relates to me at all. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But you got to remember, a lot of what people do and a lot of how people operate is from their own trauma and their own limitations. But what it isn't is your problem. What it wasn't was hers, where she at. It wasn't her problem how limited people were. And the people who just have to convince themselves and others that she's a bad person, if you could look at the faces on the people who came on her show, the people she surrounded herself with, the stories that they all told, the love that was clearly resonating between them, and still think she's a bad person, then I'm looking at you crazy. I was already looking at them crazy, but I'm looking at you crazy doubly now, because how dare you? But, you know, some people just want to feel like they bring them down a size. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, look at all the companies that had and are benefiting from Meghan. Yes, La Crusade. Did y'all see that, or is it La Crusade? No, I saw that, and people were saying they need to do a collab. I agree. People are rushing out to reproduce her recipes and flower arrangements. I know that florists and nurseries and flower shops all around are happy with Miss Meghan right now. I know they are, because I need to go get me some peonies as we speak. I'm really going to try to like incorporate some color into my centerpieces. It's a challenge for me, but I'm really going to give it a try. I promise. Hi, Joan. Joan Commonwealther says, the only reason did not have a black concubine was because he was afraid to let them know who he was dreaming of. Sorry, I'm like simultaneously having this conversation, and then the comment section is having its own conversation. But you know what? You ain't wrong. You're not wrong. Hi, Puma Rose 71. Y'all be having the most beautiful profile pictures. Mine looks animated. It looks animated. I'm trying to figure out a way to make mine better or look a little bit more realistic, but it looks like it's too colorful, and y'all just have such realistic and really pretty profile pictures. Puma Rose 71 says, the fact that she has grown so much despite everything that she's gone through is amazing. Yes, she's committed to growth and learning. That was clear throughout the show. She consistently talked about how much she loves to learn, and it's clear. Her joy is authentic and it's contagious. Look familiar. Yes, absolutely. And everybody in her circle is like that. I love that. Hi, Gwen Daniel. Gwen Daniel says, some people are just snakes no matter what you... Yeah, I say this quote all the time. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, on his song PSA, he says, no matter where you go, you are who you are. And you could try to change, but that's just the top layer. You were who you were before you got here. No matter what you do, no matter the circumstances, people are who they are, and that will show up in every situation. You can only make excuses for so long. Who was it that said, how you do anything is how you do everything? Yes, how people operate translates. It's also why I say, if you have a friend who cheats on their spouse, that's not somebody you want as a friend. If they can be disloyal to the person that they are literally one with spiritually along with Christ, if they can do them wrong, what do you think they're going to do to a friend? I definitely operate like that. Like, I watch how you move with other people. Like, people who get over on others, like, oh, girl, they gave me too much change back. Let's go. It's $7 worth all that. But I'm looking at you crazy, and now my wallet is never coming out around you because, girl, you was getting over it on $7. Like, come on now. But how you do anything is how you do everything. And some people are truly just built like that. Some people are truly... My mom has a really good quote where she'll say, there are some people in this world who will taste a cake and will go through the process of buying the ingredients, learning the recipe, and baking it at home, and now they can have cake whenever they want. And then there are people who will taste a cake, and then they will settle for stealing the crumbs off of someone else's cake plate. There are people who operate in both lanes, and you have to watch those people, because what she didn't mention was the people who will steal those crumbs will also steal the cake if you give them access. And I'm not talking about cake. People who are deceitful will be deceitful no matter who you are and what you do. You cannot avoid people being who they are. That's why it's important to be discerning. I had to learn discernment in my 30s. I just felt like there is good in everybody, but I always felt like I can bring the good out if I show them that I'm a good friend to them, then they will be inspired to return that. And that is, if I could go back to Sharion of yesteryear and shake her and be like, girl, you wasting your time. You cannot save folks. You're going to drown yourself saving other people. I absolutely would. I had to learn discernment, and I had to learn it quick because I had to rebuild my circle, and I did. But discernment will take you so far. Discernment and discipline will take you further than anything else. But people are who they are. But what you can't, I love this, the concept of you make your choices, you choose your moves, you choose your words, no matter what's going on. Even though people will do things to you and experiences will happen to you, how you react is still your choice. It doesn't feel like it. But how you react is still your choice, and how you act should always represent you. That has been the hardest lesson I've had to learn as an adult. What you say represents you. I can be reactive. Y'all have seen me. I'm telling people who know me probably better than me at this point. Y'all have seen me when people say something negative about Meghan, especially in the beginning, or people were pushing out lies. I can take a lie. I can't take lies. But when people are pushing out lies, I came on this mic and I was kind of ugly. And I'm still in the process of learning that you can say anything if you say it the right way. And what you say and how you say it is always going to represent you. People don't look at the provocateur. They don't look at that. They look at how you responded. And that's been something that I've been trying to learn. One of the things I admire most about Meghan is that she stays calm no matter what. Like, she is calm. When you are calm, you are in control of yourself. And that's the most important thing to be in control of is yourself. If you can control yourself, you control the universe. And I have given my power away in the past by letting myself be reactive. And so I've been watching how Miss Meghan operates. Like when she spilled that stuff on her and she was just like, oh, it's okay. And when she dropped the pot stickers, they just laughed. When the milk or the creamer frothed over and she was like, it's not burned. We would have smelled it. Like, those seem like small things, but you can reveal a lot about yourself in those small things. How many of us would have seen that and been like, oh my God, it's spilling. It's bubbling over. Me, I would have been like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I put it up too high. Like, I immediately would have went into like, how did this happen? Is it burned? Like, I would have had immediate reaction. When she spilled the stuff on herself, I would have immediately been like, okay, I need a cold towel. Like, it was great to see how she, a really calm person, but a lot of people handle hiccups and they don't feel like they have to be perfect. And they realize like, oh, it happens. We can always recover. We can always buy a new blouse and can always go to the dry cleaner. Like, having that, what's it called? Secure attachment, that kind of calm, like, I'm competent and I'm capable. Anything that happens, I can fix it. That has been something I'm trying to adopt because I really admire that about her. Hi, Black Queen. Black Queen says, Sharion, you are too sweet. Humans are the worst. They'll take advantage of your kindness. Yes. And also too, I appreciate that compliment. But yes, a lot of times I gave a lot of grace too, because I didn't have the best self-worth as in my early 20s. I know that now. At the time, you can tell me I wasn't the baddest, but now looking back, it's like, ma'am, it's one thing to think you're the baddest. It's another thing to actually love and invest in yourself and protect yourself. And when I was in my early 20s, I gave people a lot of grace because I did not protect myself adequately. I didn't defend myself. And it wasn't until my niece was born and I realized how fierce I was about protecting her and how I didn't care who I pissed off. As long as my niece was safe and happy, then I'm good. And I realized how aggressive I was about her and how protective. And I said, why am I not like this about myself? Why do I give people so much grace? And it was like a turning point. And that was kind of my journey into being like, oh my God, I really don't have that much self-worth. Where is my confidence? Like, I thought feeling pretty and feeling smart was the end all be all, but it's like, no, you have to actually love yourself though. And you have to invest in your health and wealth and all of that stuff. And so I gave a lot of grace. Like I said, I gave a lot of my power away just because I didn't realize that I was worth more. If I could do anything different, I would go back and be like, girl, you are the bee's knees and you better know it. You better know it and you better show it. But it's also something a lot of us grew up with too. A lot of us not everybody, but a lot of us grew up being told that selflessness is being humble. And that's just not true. Not feeling like you're better than people is humble. Knowing that you are no better than anyone else, but also you are valuable. That's being humble. But I kind of grew up being told like when you are selfless and you give everything for the benefit of other people, that's admirable. That was learning people pleasing. People pleasers they typically don't have high self-worth. And they typically seek external validation. And I realized that was kind of the cycle I was in. So I look back now at 37 and I think about some of the stuff I tolerated or looked the other way and was like, they don't know any better. Like, because I always knew all the advantages and privileges that I had. And so it really took a lot for people to kind of get to me because I'm like, I would hate to be you. And so that was always kind of how I rationalized it. But whether or not I'm offended or not is not the point. Whether or not it bothered me is not the point. It shouldn't happen. So when people would overstep with me or do things to me, I gave them a lot more grace than they deserve. A lot more. And now if I could go back at 37 and get back in some of those same experiences, first of all, I would have to ask that y'all please donate to my CashApp for my bail fund. Help your girl out, or at least put something on my book so I can get a little peanut butter sandwich because I don't like cheese and ham. So please put something on my books. If I could go back, y'all would be seeing my mug shot on the front page. And you know I don't like anything that's uncomfortable. So I would be in there scared and uncomfortable in jail. But that mugshot would be fierce. Hi, Joan Garcia. Joan Garcia says, look at her friends who helped her make the cookies for Drew's studio audience. Yes. And they all came, like, Claire Wade Keller, Kelly Zaffin, like they are very busy women. Like they have a lot going on. And Kelly Zaffin brought her kid, or she brought her daughter, I think. And we saw Lily and Archie there too. Like everybody commune. She has such a strong community. May we all be so blessed. May we all experience that at some point. I told you I'm still in the process of building my community. A big part of my community is the people who watch this channel. Like y'all are some of the most consistent people I talk to. But I would love to build a community like that I feel like I could depend on, because clearly they are a big reason why Meghan has been able to survive some of the stuff that she survived. I sometimes look at what she went through and I'm like, how? I'm grateful, but damn, all that for one person? Listen, you have to be built different to get through what she's gotten through. Also, I want to bring this up. Do you know how strong you have to be as joyful and happy after everything she's been through? How the hell is this woman not jaded? I'm glad she's not. But I don't know that I would have survived everything she survived and then not been on some, beyond scared straight kind of attitude. Like my show, if I went through what Meghan went through, my show would be like, y'all, what's up? I ain't taking no mess no more. Like, nobody would watch my little musty show because I would be aggressive and mean. I might even wear prison orange just to send a message. When you've been through stuff, you can become hardened. The fact that she is still so emotionally delicate, like she's still soft and vulnerable and joyful and happy. It takes a lot of courage to be those things in the public eye, especially when you know there's a great deal of people who wish harm on you. It's so admirable. It's so admirable. And I'm glad we got a better look at it too. Like we've always known Meghan was strong, but seeing how she lives her life, seeing how she still intentionally brings in joy, that takes a lot. She's very dedicated to moving forward. May we all be so blessed. Hi, Stevie Rose. Stevie Rose says, SharionSade, you are beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You are strong, you are independent, and you are smart. Never let anyone dim your light. People who don't have much going for them lash out at people who are happy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is very sweet. Thank you. I might just take this and put this on my wall. Thank you. I think I need to read this every morning as my affirmation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And you're right. And you know what's even worse, Stevie, and everybody who's listening, I'm just talking like we on the phone. So Stevie girl, but no, the worst part is that when things happen to other people, you can see it clearly. And then for some reason, sometimes when things happen to us, we hesitate. And I've gotten out of that. But for a long time, I had that like pause where I'm like, am I really experiencing this or am I being sensitive? And it took me years to be like, whether you sensitive or not, I would rather ask for an apology later than to let people get over on me. I had to make a decision. And that kind of came from therapy, where she was like, you tend to lean into extremes when you react to adversity or react to people infringing on your safe space at all. She was like, you react in one or the other extreme. You either overreact or you don't react. And she said, we have to come to a middle ground where you're able to discern in the moment, in real time, how to respond to everything at the right level. And I said, you're right. So we've been working on that. But she said, in the interim, if you had to lean into an extreme full time, which would you lean into? Would you lean into always overreacting and having to go back and apologize? Or would you lean into not reacting, waiting till you calm down, and then going and addressing it later? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I said I would rather overreact and apologize later. Because once the moment has passed, I'm no longer incentivized to talk about it. I'm just like, if we got through it, let's move on. I know me. So I'm now at a point where I'm like, I'd rather just apologize. I'm going to get this conversation off right now. Because the only thing I ruminate on is the things that I haven't said. I have never ruminated on reacting to someone in a big way. I've never ruminated on saying the wrong thing. The only thing that I ever ruminate on is when people have mistreated me and I didn't do anything about it or froze. I typically freeze when stuff happens, and I've had to grow out of that a lot. Oh, thank y'all so much. I'm reading y'all's comments. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate y'all being so sweet about that. That was kind of hard to talk about. I'm just now to the point where I can kind of talk about how my friends treated me at that time in my life. Especially since at that time I had a lot going on. I was willing to take anybody as a friend because I was so by myself. I was going through a lot, and I was like, community, it doesn't matter if they're good or not. Just community is fine. No, discernment is fine, Sharion. Sharion from 2009. Discernment is necessary. Hi, Vanessa. Nice to meet you. Vanessa says, people want to put her in a box. They're not comfortable with her stepping out of it. Meghan is fabulous. You know what else, Vanessa? You're not only right, but they're uncomfortable with her using that same box they tried to put her in to elevate herself. She elevates the ordinary. And so they tried to put Miss Mama in a box, and she said, not only will I not go in your box, I'm going to decorate it, make it cute, and then I'm going to stand on it. It's going to elevate me higher. You know, Meghan is a masterclass in do not let people dictate your story. If I had known Meghan's story way back when, I feel like I would have avoided a lot of strife. I feel like I would have been able to take a lot of lessons away from her. Hi, TNO. TNO says, girl, if I were getting the Mrs. Sussex treatment as a guest in her home, I would help her bake whatever she needed. I'm going to show up with my apron on, and I'm probably going to sleep in it in case she wants some midnight snacks. If she says, Sharion, get up, where are we going? Brownies? Praline, what you need? I'll heat up the car. You want me to go pick something? You want me to go get something from the farm? What do you need? As long as I can get a bite, I'm your girl. Because she clearly can cook. Also, that cake in episode 1, y'all know I started my eating plan, and I have to stay on this eating plan until May. And so the first thing, my surgery is May 27th. May 28th, I'm going to get a big bite of that cake. And I'm going to come on live and be like, I got the cake, y'all. Y'all might see me with my bandages on and my little messy bun, but I'm like, I got the cake. They said I can eat it. Because I haven't stopped thinking about that cake. I don't even like berries on my cake, but that cake looked good that I'm like, maybe I do, because it just looks so good. I've never seen a cake with like fruits and berries on it that attracted me, and that's the only one. And also because I watched them make it, all the ingredients, I knew that I would like those ingredients, so I think that cake would be something I would really, really want and enjoy. So I've been really tempted to get a little sneaky bite, but I know me well enough to know I can't moderate. I have to abstain, because one bite I will buy 6 cakes and just put my face in them. I'm not even gonna use utensils after cake number 3. We just right in the face. No, I have a sweet tooth, y'all. That's why I had to have all those oral surgeries earlier this month, because I have a sweet tooth. I had to get everything fixed. Anyway, let's get into our review of episode 8. The last episode. This sucks saying goodbye, but I can still rewatch it. But I am enjoying recapping it and talking about it. Episode 8, Feels Like Home, featured Alice Waters and lots of friends and family, including the Duke of Sussex. The hot royal, if you didn't know who he was, the hot one. The cuisine they cooked in this episode was tea, a vinaigrette, tomato quiche, roasted carrots. Like, oh my God, y'all know I love yellow carrots. Oh, I can eat a carrot with anything. My grandmama Lula, she used to make me eat carrots when I was little, and the way that she would make me eat them, because again, I had a sweet tooth, so she would like replace my cupcakes and my fudge rounds with vegetables and fruits. And it was a hard adjustment. And the way she got me to eat carrots was she made me watch Bugs Bunny. I kid you not. She made me watch Looney Tunes. And then she would give me a carrot and say, carrots make you hop. And she, my grandmama, would hop around the living room and the kitchen with me. So we would take a bite, chew and swallow, and then hop. I was 5, and she did this with me until I was about 8 years old. And so that's dedication. That is dedication. But also, that is one of my favorite memories ever. It's just literally hopping around my living room and kitchen with my grandmama. And she was, mind you, my grandmama was like in her 50s at this time. And she's hopping around. I'm 37. And if my niece was like, can you hop around with me like a bunny? I'd be like, you don't want nothing else? You want me to cash app you? Can I do something else? You want me to hop on these knees? But yeah, my grandmama was hopping around with me. This is also the same grandmama that, when was it? 2013. I went to her house for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And when I walked in, everybody was in there. And I was like, where grandmama at? And they were like, oh, she's out back. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the living room that had windows to the back, and I was just going to knock on the window and wave. I thought she was working in the garden or doing something. Why did I pull that window up? And my grandmama is outside with all my little boy cousins playing touch football. Now, this is in 2012. So let me think. It was 2012, 2013. So my grandmama was in her late 60s, early 70s. And she was playing touch tackle football. And when I tell you she was touchdowns, she was spiking it. And my grandmama's not a meek person. So every time she scored, she was mowing them kids off. But every time she scored, she was spiking the ball down and talking mess. And I was like, Grandmama, get your butt in this house. You need to get a plate. Come eat. And she came and told me, hey, baby, let me go change real quick. And I'm like, you've been cooking for 2 days. And then you top the day off with a nice game of football. And mind you, now my cousins are not all small. So some of them were like in their teens. Some of them were a little bit older. She didn't care. She was throwing bows and getting touchdowns. Anyway, I have to share that. My grandmama Lou was an amazing woman. But anyway, that's my favorite memory of her. So I have since then been obsessed with carrots. Like carrots is like a comfort food to me. If I don't have anything to snack on, I will get some carrots and I'm good. I love carrots. Also, we'll get there, but Meghan made pesto out of carrot tops. I didn't know you could do that. So that was very, very cool. I didn't even know that. And I bet that was delicious too. She also made crepes and floral cookies. Those cookies were so cute. Oh my God, I love them. They look so adorable. So the activities that they engaged in was the brunch party. That spread, oh my gosh. Meghan, girl, you about to have my grocery budget through the roof. We also saw Meghan gift wrap. We saw her pick veggies from the garden with Alice Waters. Now, when Alice Waters grabbed that rosemary and gave it a big hug, I said, I know that's right. Good food brings that out of me too. We also saw her farming. I did say I mispronounced a lot of stuff, so just bear with me. We saw her farming fresh eggs from Archie's chicken. I love that. And then we also saw her get to plan her brunch party a little bit by making the handwritten menus. Now, I've heard that Meghan's handwriting is pretty and I've seen little glimpses, but actually this is the first time I actually just got to look at it. She has such beautiful handwriting. And I know that at one point she was a calligrapher. But when she said she got A- for penmanship, I said, well, who got the A and the A+ then? I have to see their handwriting. Do they write with 24 karat gold? Like, how does it get better than this? And it made me a little bit ashamed because I have chicken scratch. I don't write anything by hand because it's just pure chicken scratch. So some notable moments from episode 8. Meghan prepared gifts for Alice Waters, and as she's doing so, she says, "I hope we can become friends." That's so sweet. That's the second friend we've seen her make on the show, the first being Chef Roy Choi. I love that she sets her intention. I love that she's like, you know what? I want to meet this person, sure, but I hope what comes from this is a friendship. And I think she got exactly that. We also saw Alice Waters, talk about her career, her inspiration, her motivation, and her intention. Now, she had me laughing when she threw her mama under the bus. She said her mama can't cook. I said, oh my God. Well, we being honest, the show is authentic, but she put it out there. But one of the things I loved is the way Meghan responded to that. Although the joke was funny, I thought it showed who Meghan is, because she goes, well, what's the best thing she knew how to make? Heart of gold. Bully where? People get on my nerves. Like, she genuinely has a heart of gold, like more than most, at like an inordinately high level, just a really sweet person. Good for her. It takes a lot to stay that way in a world like we are in, so good for her. Also, Alice Waters' comment that having your own garden is like printing your own money. Yep. It absolutely is. Meghan's kids handpicked the veggies with her that they used in the episode. I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was sweet. But also, I really love the fact that although the kids are not being shown, they're being very protected, they're still part of the show. They're still present. I just thought that was so sweet. I think that's very intentional and very sweet. We also saw Meghan sharing how you can get fresh produce in any situation. She did that in episode 7 and in episode 8. So for all the people who she's unrelatable, if you would shut up and listen, you would hear all the ways she's making you be relatable. So leave her alone. Why don't you listen instead of complaining sometime? Or don't. Or just go away. How about that? You being mean to Meghan, just go away. I also enjoyed Alice Waters prepping that lettuce because I've never seen it rolled like that. Have y'all seen that before? I'm going to start doing it that way. Because right now I have a salad spinner, like the lettuce spinner. You push the top and it spins and it throws the water off. But I actually don't like the quality of the lettuce after it comes out of that, because it makes everything very limp. It stops it from being crisp. I think it's just like the high impact of it spinning. It makes it not so crisp. So it makes all the leaves really limp. I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm going to try the rolling method that she had. Let's see what else. This was such a sweet moment when Meghan showed us her farming her fresh eggs. I love that we got to see the chickens. I like seeing how she fed them with an ice block so they could pick at it all day. And I bet that's great for the pecking order, because for those at the bottom of the pecking order, they probably don't get much food. But if it's frozen, they have a fighting chance to get to it at some point throughout the day. I like that. But the note I wanted to make here was I really liked that when they were sourcing the eggs, she said that they got all their chickens from a rescue, except for the ones that were gifted to them. But they got all their chickens. They rescued all their chickens. I was like, they are very ethical. They think of everything. I don't even know that I would have thought of that. I would have just been like, I'll buy the chicken. I wouldn't even thought about like, can I get this chicken in a way that is environmentally friendly and rescues a chicken? I just thought that was sweet. And I also love that they rehabilitated the chickens. She also made a point of saying, if we're eating the eggs, then what goes into the chicken is of the utmost importance. So they're very meticulous about what they feed their chickens as well. That feels obvious, but I hadn't even thought about that until now. Again, taking the ordinary and making it extraordinary, just putting a little thought into everything. She absolutely does that. I also didn't know you can make pesto out of carrot tops, which I mentioned. And then, of course, the epic quote that is guiding the promotion of this show: we're not in pursuit of perfection, we're in the pursuit of joy. That has been the tagline for the show. It appeared in this episode, and I could not agree more. We saw many moments where Meghan did not do things exactly perfectly. We saw her learning new things for the first time on camera. Brave. Mama is confident, because I don't like learning things in front of people. I don't even like typing in front of people. Have y'all ever noticed that when someone's watching you type, you make more errors? Is it just me? When people are watching me do anything, I mess up more. Like when I'm trying to record my voicemail message, like, hi, thank you for calling. You've reached Sharion. If someone is within earshot, I'm so ashamed. And I don't know. It's not a big deal. But if I know someone's listening to me, I'm like, thank you for calling Sharion. I just give up. Like, you can talk to Siri. How about that? Because I just can't stand for people to watch me do something. And I make more mistakes. So the fact that Meghan was learning new things on this show, 10s across the board. Good for her. And then, of course, a notable moment from the episode, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, appeared. It was great to see him. As far as the funny moments from this episode, for me, Alice Waters talking about her mom not being able to cook, just threw her right on under the bus and just backed over with that dart. Archie's chick-in, the little picnic table, is called a chick-nick table. I will never look at a tiny picnic table the same again. I thought that was so cute. And then lastly, the very last shot of the whole series, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex's husband, grabbing fists full of food and shoving them into his face. Tell me your wife can cook without telling me your wife can cook. Because he went right for it. He immediately grabbed that food and shoved it right in his face. I was cracking up. So that was episode 8, and unfortunately, the last episode of season 1. But we are getting a season 2. So it's all good. It's all gravy, baby. So I'm excited for season 2. What are some things that you guys would like to see in season 2? Like, is there any type of cuisine that you would like for her to explore or share? I definitely want more of like California cuisine. I still want more of that. I like learning about California on this show. Y'all know I'm from Texas. And so I don't know a whole lot about like what grows natively in California. I don't know a whole lot about their cuisine. I did know they had heavy Mexican food there. That I did know. But I didn't know that they had such a large Korean community. So that was news to me. So everything about this show has been kind of informative to me. And I will say, Meghan's co-host is the state of California, more specifically Los Angeles. Because every episode, I feel like there's a piece of her that derived from being in Los Angeles or from being an Angelino. And I love that California is its own character in the show. I feel like we've learned a lot about California, and there's a whole new level of appreciation. It's not just Hollywood and celebrities, and it's like there's so much more to it, as told by a native Angelino. So I like that about the show. So let's see. I'm going to read some comments. Hi, Colette McCullough. Colette McCullough says he can never get rid of that title if he wanted to. Now, wait, let me go back up. Are you talking about being royal? I think that's what you're referencing. Yes, I agree. Harry is who he is. He is a royal, and they hate that he can be who he wants to be, and they can't control that. They don't validate him or his wife. I love it. Hi, Viola McGowan. It's good to see you. Viola says, they both are doing an amazing job with the life they are carving out for themselves and their little families. Such a blessing for them. God is showing them with many blessings. Absolutely. It's great to see a happy ending. It's great to see the good guys win. I really like watching their story. That's a big reason why I'm like so invested in like how they're doing. Because a lot of what they do as far as philanthropy, that's kind of my favorite thing to talk about. They get a lot done. They maximize their resources and opportunities to help people tremendously. And that's really fun to cover. But I also just like their personal story. I love how they have not allowed anything to dictate who they are and what they're all about and what they came here to do. May that be a lesson for all of us. Don't let anybody take you off track. You can survive anything. Let's see here. Oh. Hi, Black Queen. Black Queen says the pot stickers falling short of the plate. Very human and authentic. Yes, and honestly, it's probably something I would do. Flipping things over is not my forte. I make pancakes at home, and still flipping the pancake on the griddle is so difficult for me. I have to actually I have a pancake skillet because it helps me. It has the curved edges where I can slide the spatula over, because I was tearing that griddle up. That's one of those things I'm not that great at, is flipping things. Or when I'm making an omelet, I flip the egg too soon. It's go everywhere. It's just a mess. So yes, messing up a little bit in the kitchen, but recovering, that's very relatable. I think we've all been there. Oh, let's see here. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, look at all the companies that had and are benefiting from Meghan. People are rushing out to reproduce her recipes and flower arrangements. I think I read this comment already, but yes, I agree. Oh yeah, here we go. I keep responding to y'all in my head. Let me quick things. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, just check Netflix and With Love, Meghan just fell from the top 10. So I'm rewatching again. Got to get it back up to the top 10. Yes, let's all rewatch it tonight and maybe put it on repeat in a room that you're not watching TV in. Just keep it on repeat if you can. Just keep going back and restreaming the whole series. That might be the key, because it does need to stay in the top 10. The thing is, it's only 8 episodes. So once people got through those 8 episodes this week and last week, they're like, okay, I'll go on to something else. Because when it came out, it was in the top 10. So it's clearly very popular. But I'm hoping that people will go back and rewatch. So thank you for making a note of that, Karen. I'm definitely going to be putting it on my TV in my office and in the living room, because I actually like to watch it right before bed now. That's what I watch when I'm cooking. That's what I watch after dinner. It's just kind of like I said, a palate cleanser. It just puts a positive atmosphere in the house. And my husband likes it. I did not expect him to like it. I don't know. I just thought maybe it wouldn't be his style of show. Like, he kind of likes martial arts stuff. Like, that's kind of his favorite genre. He likes Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li. He likes anything fight. He's really into those IP Man movies. So I didn't really know if he would take to this at all, but I had it on, and then I went in the kitchen and I started doing something. When I came back, he was all posted up on the couch like this. And I said, what's Meghan saying now, Jonathan? What she got you doing now? But he was taking it all in. I was like, well, maybe I'll wake up to some crepes thanks to Meghan. I'm gonna leave it on and see what else he pick up. Hi, TNO. TNO says, episode 8 was so very sweet and my favorite because of how sweet Meghan and Miss Waters were together. Oh, they were endearing. There was just so much admiration between them. I enjoyed that too, TNO. Miss Waters sees and appreciates the beauty and the power in food, and so does Mrs. Sussex. I could not agree more. Yeah, and you could tell they connected on that. I thought that was very sweet. Oh, wow. TNO says my mother would prep and clean lettuce like Mrs. Waters. Oh my gosh. So that's really cool. I'd never seen that before. So your mama was ahead of the curve. What, do you do it that way as well? Please let me know. That's so interesting. Let's see here. I agree. Hi, Joan Garcia. Joan Garcia says, I would love to see Serena Williams cooking with Meghan. Me too. I really like Serena Williams and I love their friendship. In their Archetypes episode, they just seem so loving. They have such a good camaraderie. They have a really good relationship. Hi, Colette McCullough. Colette McCullough says, Harry in the kitchen with her and maybe get a glimpse of the kids. I would love that. And they did say Harry can cook. So I would love to see that represented. Absolutely. Hi, Viola McGowan, soul food. Yes, yes, yes. I would love to see her make some soul food. Absolutely. And I hope that if she's up to it, I would hope that Doria Ragland, her mom, might be able to participate at some point. Hearing her mom speak on the Harry and Meghan docuseries, I loved her voice. She's very, very sweet. But it made me so sad that we don't have more of her. And it's not her thing. So I'm glad they don't exploit her or anything. But I'm like, oh, I wish that at some point she would maybe do something with them, like that we could have like a story time or narrate something, because she just has one of those voices that are just immediately like calming and enjoyable. It makes sense that she was a yoga instructor. I can absolutely see that. So I would love to see her on one of the episodes too. Hi, Puma Rose 71. Puma Rose says, I love that they are building generational wealth all on their own. Yes, absolutely. No one can take credit for anything they have. They built it brick by brick. I absolutely love that. They have such a good story, such an encouraging story too. Wait. What? Colette McCullough says, did you see Kate trying to flip that pancake? She can't cook. No. Please, I'm going to go find this because I have seen a few clips of Kate in the kitchen and it always looks like a Dillard's catalog, like Pose or like the Sears appliance promotional photo. She always just looks like so unnatural. She doesn't look like she's been in there long. She don't look like none of the appliances have been turned on. That oven is not preheating. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they have staff to do everything for them. I don't even know why they put on. I think it's an insult to my intelligence. We know you have people who do everything for you. Why are you pretending you're just one of the gals? No, you're not. You're a princess. And in every other situation, you exploit the hell out of that crown. So don't try to act like you in the kitchen just because we know Meghan can cook. Just because we know Meghan knows what you ain't got to compete. And again, I'm one of those people that I don't like looking silly. If I know I'm not good at something, why am I going to challenge someone who's amazing at it and try to compare myself to them? Why am I going to try to be acknowledged in the same realm? I'm not about to challenge Usain Bolt to a foot race. I'm not crazy. I'm not about to try to out-sing and out-belt Beyonce. I'm going to let people do what they're good at, and I'm going to try to focus on my strengths. Trying to act like she getting in the kitchen is just going to do more harm than good. So I'm going to look that up. Thank you for letting me know. I have to see that. Oh, let's see here. Hi, Joan Garcia. Joan Garcia was responding to Connie Balmer, but I like this note. During an episode, you can pause and the little thumbs up appears so you can vote. So please, everybody, if you're watching you're watching on Netflix because that's where it is. But please don't forget to rate it on Netflix as well with a double thumbs up. I kept forgetting to say that. And we also have in the description box below, we have a link to rate the show on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. And you can also rate it on Google as well. Leave it a review and a positive review. But you can also do that on Netflix with a double thumbs up. Thank you for making that note, Joan. Oh, nice. TNO says, with love, Meghan has been on a loop on 3 devices since last week. Smart. You are ahead of the game. I need to get caught up. Thank you so much for that note. I'm going to do the same thing. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, have you noticed some of these no-name chefs trying to ride on Meghan's coattail? One just looks nasty. You know, I haven't seen any individuals, but I have seen people trying to get a little attention. And you know what? I love seeing that it's backfiring. I love seeing that the people who immediately went on the attack because they knew that Meghan would get them attention or Meghan's name would get them attention. I love that their fan base and squatties have been like, back it up. And you know what? What's even crazier to me is she's such a nice person. I'm pretty sure that if they have like a platform or something and they reached out to her team and was like, I would love to help or contribute to the show, I'm pretty sure they will work something out. Like, you get way more flies with honey. Why go on the, like, why be an adversary when you could just say, I admire what she's doing and I would like to contribute. I'm an expert in this field. I would love to be part of this. Why do it in a negative way? Like, that's how you know they're not that smart, because anyone who will publicly hate on someone else, especially for no reason, they're already not that smart. So we already know that about them. But the fact that they don't mind looking foolish in the public eye, I tell you what, if they're not smart enough to know that participating in the abuse of somebody globally is a bad thing, then I don't want to eat their food, because I don't trust their judgment. I don't think they do anything well. I don't think they're really good at what they do. Because if you don't know enough to know that that's the wrong way to go about things, how can I trust that you took that chicken out the grease in time? How do I know I'm not going to get a pink or red bone? I don't know that. And so I wouldn't eat at their establishments. I wouldn't eat their cooking. People who make bad choices probably don't cook well. And that goes for the chefs as well. Goodbye to your platform, chefs. Hi, TNO. TNO says, yes, I dried lettuce and any other greens for salad, rolled up and sandwiched between 2 towels to soak up the water. I'm so intrigued by that, because I've noticed when they unrolled it, the lettuce was still very crispy. And that's been my problem with the spinner. So I'm going to try this. I'll let y'all know how it goes. Hi, Mina Ruth. It's good to see you. Mina Ruth says, I would love to see Miss Doria on the show with Meghan. That would be such a sweet moment. I completely agree. I love their dynamic. We saw a little bit of it when Meghan debuted Together, the cookbook, and then she hosted that lunch. I think was it at KP? I can't remember, but we saw her host that lunch for everyone who contributed to the book and those at the Hub Community Kitchen. And we saw Doria there for a little bit, and we saw them talking and chatting. And then we've heard little moments of them talking on the phone. When Meghan answered the phone on Archetypes? When we learned then that her mom calls her Flower. Like, they have such a sweet dynamic. So I would love to see more of that. I don't think we get enough positive mother-daughter content. And that's always such a heartwarming thing. I love seeing mothers and daughters who are really, really close. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Hi, Don Hansen. It's good to see you. Don Hansen says, I want to know whose jam recipe Kitty is trying to claim as her own. Right. They don't even try to make it believable. Well, Kate makes jam too. Okay, and we not thinking about Kate. Why she didn't say nothing before now? Same thing with Charles, when he also was selling jam all of a sudden when Meghan came out with her jam last year. Just, they're so pathetic. You know damn well that girl has never written down a recipe. Can she spell? Questions that need answers. Like, let me stop being ugly. I just said I was trying to be a better person. Dawn, you are bringing up the worst. I'm gonna blame you. No, I don't think that you're right. I don't think she know how to cook. I'm pretty sure she don't know how to write down a recipe. Does she keep pens on her? When does she ever need to write anything? Like, think about that. When has she had to sign anything? She just be floating through life. You know what? Fine. But just own it. Hi, Connie Balmer. It's good to see you. Connie Balmer says, Joan, you mean on Netflix site. Yes. They were talking about putting the thumbs up. Let's see. Hi, Tanya Banton. It's good to see another flawless profile pic. Hey, y'all are putting me to shame. I got to retake my profile pic because y'all get me inspired. Y'all look so pretty in y'all's pictures. Tanya Banton says, I made the 1-pot pasta. It was so good. My kids ate the whole pot. Ooh. Whew. Okay. I'm going to try to make the 1-pot pasta. I was going to make it this past weekend, but we ended up going to do a crab boil, and then we ate at the movies the next day. So we live near an Evo, and they have some really good food at that theater. So we were kind of fully fed, but you know, this weekend I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna try it again. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, one so-called chef claimed he turned Netflix down to appear on Meghan's show, and Netflix turned around and said they never called or invited him for the show. Oh! For real? Okay. Okay. Oh, how embarrassing. See, I told you, I get secondhand embarrassment. I cannot stand to look stupid. I can't stand to look stupid in public. Like, it's one thing to make a mistake, but it's another thing to be like egregiously stupid. And this is egregiously stupid because you could have just said nothing. You didn't have to lie. And I love that Netflix is 10 toes down for Meghan. I have noticed that. They do not allow people to get over on Meghan on their watch. They are always stepping up to defend her. And I love that. Even when she decided to move the show, she said she had their full support. I love that they are And now they're business partners. I love that they are so supportive of Meghan. And I'm pretty sure a big part of that is because they know mama's going to make them some money because they're business people after all. Don't you mess with Meghan. She brings in the queen. I don't blame them. But yeah, I'm going to look that up, Karen, because tomorrow I'm going to research this and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow because I have to read it. I have to see it and I have to give my opinion. Because I'm already getting an opinion and I haven't even researched it, but that is hilarious. That's what he gets, or whoever it was. That's what he gets. Because why? You could have just said nothing. Anyway. And from what we know, most of the people that Meghan had on the show, and maybe even all, she reached out to herself. And we know that because the people are sharing their stories. So the people who actually appeared on the show. You know what? Oh. John Garcia responded to that and said, "You mean the scuzzy guy who looked like he lives on the streets?" If I were him and I saw this, I would come out and apologize because I'm like, they are reading the hell out of me over on that girl live stream. I would be so embarrassed. It's what he deserves. He deserves, whoever it is. Meghan literally don't bother anybody. Like, if this show didn't do anything else, and it did plenty, but if it didn't do anything else, it literally showed that she just want to live in peace. Why do y'all bother people who don't bother others? When they could literally go bother people who are bothering other people. Go bother Trump. Go bother him. Make his life as difficult as possible. Go bother Elon Musk. Go bother them and use them as punching bags all you want. Embarrass them. Make fun of them. Whatever. Why are you bothering people who don't bother nobody else? And not only don't bother, but they actually do right by so many people and help so many people. I'll never understand that. And I'm glad I don't. Because if I understood it, I would be just as crazy as those people. Hi, Viola McGowan says, we all thinking the same thing on Kate. Yeah, I don't. You know what? Maybe she has other strengths. Meghan taught me a new way to look for the good. When someone's not so good at something, maybe instead of saying like, you suck, like I would, just kidding. But instead of being like, they're not that great, maybe I'll say, you have other strengths. I love the way she said that. And because Abby did have other strengths. She's great at a lot of things, but that was a funny way to put that. Hi, Karen M. Karen M says, Meghan is number 8 in the 25 best feel-good television shows, including Abbott Elementary, The Summer I Turned Pretty, Heartstopper, and With Love, Meghan. She is in good company because Abbott Elementary is one of my favorite shows. It is such a good show. I also like Papa's House with the Wayans. That has been one of my favorites so far. It's such a funny show. I'm really enjoying it. And my husband said he was going to start watching something called The Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer. I think they just had their series finale, or they're about to. And so he wants to binge the whole series. And he said he heard good things. Have y'all heard anything? Is that a feel-good show too? The Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer? I like Cedric. I think he's so funny. So I'm pretty sure I would enjoy it. Hi, SKT. SKT says, Kate and Pippa were raised to marry rich men. Do not have any useful skills. Didn't they call Kate Middlebum because she was putting her booty in the window? Did I remember that right? Who remembers that? Can y'all tell me who that was? Their mother was like Mrs. Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. No way those girls ever learned to cook. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all. And it doesn't seem like they have a lot of other strengths. I'm not even trying to be ugly. It's just what they show the world is not something that I would admire or aspire to. And I think instead of trying to minimize or dismiss or overshadow, as if that's even possible, Meghan, I think they need to tap into what they're good with and what they're good at. I think they should develop skills. I think they should connect with the public, because clearly they do have some kind of fan. Well, not Pippa, but Kate has some kind of fan base. Some people really like Kate, and it would be great if she would just go focus on them. If all of them would go focus on what served them. If Charles and Camilla and William, I didn't call that man Egghead for so long, I forgot his name. I need to stop that. William and Kate, if they all just went and focused on what served them and their subjects, it would be all good. It's like they are obsessed, feverishly obsessed with Meghan. It's not healthy to be obsessed with anything to that extent. It's not healthy at all, especially considering it don't matter to her at all. Do you know how pissed I would be if I've been trying to bring somebody down for almost 10 years and they just like, oh, by the way, I made sun tea today. And that was kind of the highlight. Whatever. I'm going to go home and pumice my feet. Like, I would be like, damn, I'm not even good at bothering people. I suck. And that's true. It's the truth, though. Y'all not even good. And I'm talking about the royals. Y'all not even good at bringing nobody down. And y'all got all the resources in the world. You see how much you suck? You can't even bring a private citizen down with all your resources. Give it up. Give it up. They get on my nerves. And I saw Charles invited the orange turd back to an unprecedented second visit. And I have every belief in the world he did that to send a certain message. And I love even more that nobody cared. I love even more that people were like, oh, well, fine. Birds of a feather, I guess. Like nobody cared. There wasn't a big outrage about it. Nobody even really talked about it. Nobody reacted to it. Made him look completely idiotic. I love that. Hi, V. Thomas. It's good to see you. V. Thomas says, yes, The Neighborhood is a very funny show. Love it. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Thank you for letting me know. He did say he that he wanted to watch it and he wanted to binge it. And I was like, oh, gosh. The last time he said that to me, we watched The Walking Dead over the course of like a week. We both had a week off work. And so we just binged it. That was the most mentally heavy week of my life. It was good, but I don't think those shows are not meant to be consumed in bulk. But I committed to this, but whew, I'm stressed. I was having nightmares. I walked out my house and I almost felt a little anxiety. Like, are there walkers around that corner? Like, that was a very weird time. And so whenever he talks about he wants to binge something, I'm like, will we binge in this time? Where are you taking me, John? But no, I'm glad you confirmed. Okay, if it's feel good and it's funny, then I can handle a couple of episodes. Oh. TNO says, Kitty Cat showed her kitty cat. I love when y'all are clever. Kitty Cat showed her kitty cat when exiting a vehicle before her marriage. We know what her waxer knows. Oh my gosh. Oh no. How abusive to our eyes. I'm glad I didn't see that. Hi, Lakiva McGee. Sharion, you aren't just, oh, smart, you're funny. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I just be up here cutting up. I'm glad y'all enjoy it. Half the stuff I say, I'm like, ooh. Afterwards, I'm like, I got too comfortable. Maybe I shouldn't have said that on camera. I'm surprised I haven't been subpoenaed at some point or gotten a cease and desist, because sometimes I really yap and I really be shooting my mouth off. I've had to be very meticulous with my words lately. Hi, TCC son. TCC said, I think that is the problem. The trolls realized the lack of skills from Kate, so they are trying to reduce Mrs. Sussex's skills. Not going to happen. So sorry. Not really. I agree. Yes, that's exactly it. They can't ask her to be more skilled or more important or more likable. So the best bet is to be like, well, maybe we can bring somebody else down. Maybe we can make it competitive. No. Just like you said, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Yes, me too. Hey, Viola McGowan says, I love The Walking Dead. Me too. It's one of my favorite shows. But watching the first 3 seasons all at one time, I don't recommend. I recommend breaking it up over the course of a couple of days with some kind of other shows to like palate cleansing shows to kind of bring you back up, because whew, that was a heavy week. It was fun though. It was fun. All right, y'all. I have talked y'all's ear off. Thank y'all so much for being here. It was so fun to recap this live. I was going to do a pre-recorded, but I was like, no, we're ending the recaps. We got to do it big. So I'm glad we got to have this conversation together. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. And if you feel so inclined, please don't forget to comment with your thoughts if you're watching on replay, and subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. So that's all I have for y'all. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show.